Hello everyone, today we have a deck that I call the Secret Sauce. It is not a deck that I would have thought Mew EX pushed over the top, but it absolutely feels like it is. Now, this deck was navigated in a recent tournament. It was a smaller tournament, but it was the only deck that went a perfect 10-0. It went up against a plethora of Mewtwo's, a plethora of Celebys, and dominated every single one of them. It went up against a lot of the coughing Scolipede and a mixture of other just experimentations, and it was able to dominate every single one of them. Now, the beauty of this deck is that it gets online quickly, so it gets online more quickly than the Charizard version. And then normally the Charizard version, if it was given time to get their Charizard online, would just sweep us from there, right? But with this deck, we have the extra added benefit of Mew EX. And so now they take out one of our Pokemon with their Charizard, we pivot into our Mew EX, and we can one-shot their Charizard, and it is game over for them at that point. So we get online faster, we hit harder with the Mew EX, and it's just dominant. In the Mewtwo matchup, I think this is what gives us just an added edge in that one, because the Arcanine version previously did really good into the Pikachu matchups, but it didn't really hold its own as much against the Mewtwo, just because Mewtwo can oftentimes get online quickly and then it's doing some dominant things. We couldn't one-shot their Mewtwo with our Arcanine. With Mew, we now have that kind of hidden tech against that matchup. Being able to have our Arcanine or Moltres in the front line, they get a Mewtwo online, we have Mew in the back line that we are building up. As soon as it hits 3 energy, we can copy the Mewtwo's attack, and this is what I think makes Mew EX broken. We can copy the Mewtwo's attack even though we don't have the right energy to discard. And so even though we don't have Psychic Energy, we can copy their Side Drive attack every single turn, and we can one-shot the Mewtwo in that pivot. And so absolutely crazy value in the Mew EX. For the trainers, we keep 1 copy of Budding Expeditioner, 1 copy of Red Card. You can replace this for like a Sabrina, a Giovanni. We keep 1 copy of Giovanni, 1 copy of Sabrina, 1 copy of Leaf, and then it's double X-Speed, double Potion, double Pokeball, and double Professor's Research. And so the deck is dominant. I went on a 7-0 run in the Emblem event, and it showed no signs of weakness. Even in bad draws, sometimes even if you don't find Moltres, you just start with Growlithe, and then 3 turns later, or I guess a couple of turns later, you have your online Arcanine that is doing some dominant damage, and then you just build up either a backline Growlithe, a Moltres, or Mew from that point in case you need a pivot switch. And so absolutely crazy damage, consistent damage, and just has a lot of strengths going for it. We're going to go ahead and jump over into a couple of games. Thank you guys, as always, for being here. I hope you guys enjoy. Applying pressure to this Mewtwo. They do have their Gardevoir, unfortunately. They go with Sabrina. I think we just let them kill the Growlithe. We give him an extra turn even. Because right now they only have 1 Mewtwo, so they can't build up an alternate one. They really shouldn't have thrown down the second Ralts, I don't think. I think they messed up throwing down the second Ralts. There is our Arcanine, which is beautiful, but since it doesn't one-hit KO the Mewtwo, I kind of want to wait until we deal with Mewtwo before using it. Let's build up the Mew here. I'm going to save the Arcanine so that I don't think they're going to go red card, but I'm going to save the Arcanine. Go ahead and end our turn at that. If they use their second Sabrina, we just throw Moltres back in. We let him get just absolutely pummeled. And then we have the backup Mew that's going to do some pummeling as well. The thing that I think pushes Mew over the top. Genome hacking is good, but the fact that we can use the Side Drive attack without the energy to discard, same thing with Charizard, that's what I think pushes it over that edge, and I think makes it ridiculous. And that's why it fits really well into this deck. Otherwise, we were in a very tough spot. But by having the Mew, we don't have to worry. They had an immaculate curve. Probably the best curve they could have wanted. Let's go ahead and build up. We're going to do Professor's Research, and we'll see what we draw. X-Speed and Red Card. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and build. I can't believe it. Oh, shutting down Mewtwo. We will take the win. Let's go ahead and jump over into the next one. All right, we are going second again. We do have our Moltres in the start. That's one of the biggest, or I guess not biggest, it's a starting hurdle for this deck. Because this deck doesn't necessarily need as much energy ramp as like a Charizard, sometimes you can get away with Growlithe in the front line into just adding energy into the evolution. At that point, you only need 3 turns. That's not awful, but it's not ideal either. And so we hope to find a basic Pokemon at least. We have the Pokeball. Hopefully we find a Growlithe. The Moltres is fine. The Mew honestly would be okay as well. But Growlithe would be more ideal. Let's go ahead and go Giovanni. There's the cute little Growlithe. We have a draw mechanic for next turn, so very, very good start. And we're up against the probably Snivy Celby deck that is very strong. But if you know what to expect, it can be beaten. This deck, the Fire deck with the Mew addition, Mew EX in this deck is crazy, you guys. Some people are gonna say that it's this or that or the other. Don't listen to them. It's amazing. Being able to pivot into the Mew EX to counter Mewtwo, huge. To counter Charizard, huge. And then against this matchup, it's not all that good. So they hit us with a red card, unfortunately. We lose our Professor's Research. We get a red card, we get Mew, and then we get Professor's Research back. All right, we can handle it. And last, I kind of breezed over it, but we got 3 tails off of the Moltres, which is unfortunate. But it is what it is. Let's go Professor's Research, see what we pull. In this matchup, we may go Growlithe instead of Mew, but with the Budding Expeditioner, I think we definitely go with the Mew EX here. And then, since we don't have Arcanine, since we have a couple of turns to coin flip, I'm actually going to build up our Mew instead. Let's go Inferno Dance and hope for a better outcome. That's all we can do. We have the red card, but honestly, I don't think we need to play it. They don't have their whatever other Pokemon. Oh my goodness. 0 out of 3 and then 1 out of 3. So we are 1 out of 6. I mean, I've had worse. I've had worse coin flips, but unfortunate. It's fine. No, now they go Professor's Research. If they don't have any basics or much that they throw onto the board, now might be the time that we force them into a red card, but as long as they get their Celebi down, yeah, Celebi is huge for them because they're going to have Servine soon. They don't have it in hand right now, otherwise they would evolve it. I'm pretty sure. And so red card, we don't really want to use it right now. We do get the Arcanine. Unfortunately, it's a couple turns too slow. If actually, I'm a turn too slow. Had we, instead of building up the Mew, had we built up the Arcanine, we'd be attacking, we'd take out their Servine before it became a problem. But we have to live with that now. Oh, let's go Inferno Dance. And I knew there wasn't any big like Charizard type attacks for Mew, so there wasn't really a good reason to build up Mew EX. All that I know is it's going to delay us a turn. Go ahead and put both onto Arcanine here. And then we have the X speed to retreat out the Moltres for free next turn. And then we can start applying damage. We actually have the Giovanni, so we can one-hit KO their Celebi, which is going to be really, really good for us. Even if they have like a really good curve here. Whoa, another Professor's Research? Goodness. I think we apply the red card next turn. Just even though they're going to have their evolution, I think we go ahead and do the red card. Because they just have so many in hand. And I don't see them playing a multitude of them. They've burnt both of their Professor's Researches. Only one Pokeball, but the Execute is a pretty good card or pretty good line. Whoa. I was going to say, there's no way they don't have Superior, but we get Sabrina. Is it ever worthwhile to make them pivot? Like, force them out of what they're wanting to go with here? First, we're going to red card. as we think about it. Because they always go into Celebi, and then Celebi is weak at that point. Otherwise, we take the one, Celebi comes in and potentially knocks out our Arcanine. So yeah, let's go ahead and do the Sabrina. We won't be able to one-hit KO the Celebi because we won't have access to Giovanni now. It's fine. It is what it is. But whoa, no way. They go Superior? That is a mistake, my friend. A big mistake. What are you doing? Whoops. I mean, I don't know that the Celebi is the perfect answer either, because then it's, you know, one hit or two hit. It gets it really, really low. So then all we have to do is like a Psy Shot or whatever to finish it off. But that feels wrong. Let's go ahead and destroy their Superior. They went through all that work to find the stage 2. And now it is gone. They don't have any energy built up onto the Execute. Celebi can attack, but I mean, it can do a max of 100 damage. All right, so we start with Growlithe. The good thing is we have double Growlithe. We also have double Arcanine, which is great to see. And then we have a Pokeball. So what we're hoping for is to find a Moltres. We get to attach the first energy, so we'll see. They have the old Mankey, so maybe it's like an old Mankey, old Primeape, new Golem line is something that I've considered. It feels too inconsistent. Like, fighting has never felt amazing. Dome Fossil, so the new Aerodactyl would make some sense. Let's go with the Pokeball here. We do get our Moltres. They can't one-shot us, which is good. I'm going to throw it onto the Moltres. And then next turn we can always pivot out. Just in case they have anything weird where they do like a lot of damage to this Growlithe, I don't really want to be building him up. Next turn we're going to apply one on him and then retreat him out. They're going to go with the Kabutops, which in certain decks, I was running a Gyarados one day, and they got Articuno like on curve, or not Articuno, they got Aerodactyl EX on curve, and I couldn't evolve my Eevee in the front line, and I couldn't retreat him out because I didn't have anything else in the back line, and so it just locked me in, which was super unfortunate. All right, we can go Leaf, but I believe we just take the one energy hit here, and then that way we can retreat the Moltres out a little bit cheaper. Let's go ahead and, just in case there's a weird offshoot Sabrina, red card, whatever shenanigans, let's go ahead and evolve both of these guys. And then now we do the Inferno Dance. We dance with a little bit of fire. See how many energy we can pull out of the fray. Go ahead and flip. Not a good start. Better recovery. Not great finish. All right, so we get the 1. And honestly, all we need is 3. I'm going to build onto... No. I'm going to build onto this one. This left one is full health. The better looking one, the full art one, is slightly damaged, so we want to play it a bit cautiously. If they have a Mankey evolution, they can do 100 damage onto the Moltres. But as long as we get our Arcanine up and online, that's okay. They do go Sabrina here. So let's go ahead and put in the damaged Arcanine. He's damaged goods. He's just kind of a tank right now. And then maybe a last turn sweeper style of card. But we have Leaf, which means even though they used the Sabrina, we're going to be able to pivot him out without wasting any energy. We can apply the extra onto whoever we need to. And then go from there. They did not have the Mankey, which is super unfortunate for them. I believe this is the card we're going to go with here. Retreat it out into Moltres. You're not gonna stop our style. Let's do the one here. And then I'm going to do Inferno Dance. You know what? No, I'm going to do Inferno Dance onto... Oh, never mind. I was thinking it was Misty and we had to choose ahead of time. As long as we get 1, that one's going to go to the left Arcanine. Whoa, all 3 is beautiful. It's going to go to the left Arcanine. We don't necessarily need all 3, but it does help us just get fully prepped for any kind of like pivoting that we need. And so now we can apply the energy onto Moltres for that retreat. We have Arcanine up and online next turn. We smash out that front Mankey, and there's going to be very little that they can do. This deck just, if it's given even the slightest amount of time to get online, can do so much damage. Why did they waste a potion on the Mankey? Okay. They're going to hit us for 40 damage here. Big 40. We have red card, but we're not going to use it. Since their line doesn't use any like stage 2 evolutions, we're not really pressed to use the red card. But against Mewtwo, if we get it, right after they get a Mythic Slab plus Professor's Research or a couple of other things, red card can be good value with all the draw that we're seeing in the game right now. And so we take out their Mankey. They don't really have anything else developed. We'll take the 4th in a row victory. Let's go ahead and jump over into the next one. Next up, we have Stuart. We start with Moltres. No draw mechanics, so there's a small chance that we don't get to build onto anything here. I hope that's not the case, but there is a chance. We have 2 Pokeballs, 2 Professor's Research, several basics. Even building onto the Moltres as a backup is fine. Professor's Research, good. You may save our bacon. Professor's Research, let's see a basic Pokeball. Beautiful. Double Pokeball, even more beautiful. We are thinning our deck by another 4 here. Or I guess by 4 here, another 2 with the double Pokeball. And so we get Growlithe. We're looking for Mew, Moltres. We'll throw Mew in just as that kind of sponge in case they hit us with a Sabrina. We have the Budding Expeditioner that we can pull it in for free. And so then it kind of adds a little bit of protection. In this matchup, the Celby matchup, we don't really need to worry about building up Mew EX too much. In a Mewtwo matchup, you best believe you're building up the Mew. In a Charizard matchup, you're building up the Mew. In this one, it's not as important. If we get insanely lucky and get 3 heads here, or even 2 heads, we can attack with Arcanine next turn. That's not a good start. Not a good recovery. Bring it on in the finish. And so it's going to take at least 1 extra turn here to bring it all the way home. So they will be able to maybe evolve into a Superior. If we can find Sabrina, that's always super helpful at, depending on how big their bench is, at being able to destroy that Superior line or their Servine line or their Snivy, whatever. That is a key Pokemon for us to take out. If we also find Giovanni, that's also really big at taking out the Celebi in 1 shot. There's the Sabrina that we know and love to see. Just in case, we're going to go ahead and throw the energy onto the Growlithe. I'm not going to evolve it into the Arcanine. They didn't have the Snivy evolution, so I'm not going to go red card. Honestly, yeah, a lot of times red card is just a fumble. Because with 5 in hand, they're struggling to find it. You know what? We're gonna go ahead and hit them with the red card just because we can. We're gonna take their 5 into 3. Maybe they get Professor's Research. Maybe it helps them out. I think more often than not here it is gonna help them out because we know that they didn't have the evolution line for their Snivy there. Okay, we got 1 heads, one out of 3 again. But honestly, we didn't need any more. That's all that we needed. Actually, they couldn't evolve last turn, could they? Because they got the first attempt at energy attachment. No, we did. They got the first attempt at evolving. So they did get Pokeball. They're going to be able to throw a backline like Snivy or Celebi or Execute down. There's a Snivy. But no evolution, so we are good to go. Let's Arcanine. We're gonna go with X speed. Retreat the Moltres out. I'm gonna put the Arcanine in, and I'm gonna add energy onto the backline Moltres. in case we ever need to pivot out of the Arcanine and still be doing damage, Mew is not necessarily our reliable source. Because we either get like the Celebi, which we're not going to have as many coins as them, or I guess we could go the Superior line, which is 70 damage. It's not bad, but either way, let's go ahead and do the Arcanine. There is a chance that their Celebi one hits us, and they don't go Superior at all. They would need 3 for 3, which, you know what? If they hit it, that's a big gamble. We commend them. Not happily commend them, but we would commend them. And if it doesn't, do we make them pivot in? No. If it doesn't, I think we just do the damage onto the Celebi and call it a day. Because then we just need like a little bit of chip damage anywhere to finish it off. Good start. Oh, goodness. That is the exact opposite of what they needed, which we'll gladly take. Okay, Giovanni there would have been clutch. It's fine, we didn't need it. We do get the concede. That is going to be 7-0. We are going to end it there. Absolutely crushing with the deck. It's beating Mewtwo, dominating Mewtwo with that Mew line, dominating Celebi with just the quickness of the Arcanine, beating the coughing stuff that's trying to counter the Mewtwo stuff, and it does decently against water decks as well, as long as you're able to start Moltres and then pivot into your high damage dealers. And so we're going to go ahead and end it. Thank you guys, as always, for being here. This has been TLSG. Later, guys.